kids. Like Pixar is like they're like what 20 years old at this point. Like a little bit, like just about.
No, they. I mean,
is this
Toy
their 20th?
Story's
Toy Story was their first film that was released in '95, but they had to have been in existence for at least a year or so beforehand.
I think they've been around since. I'm
but
trying to remember the Pixar documentary, but I think they've been around for almost a little over. Probably almost.
Okay, let me amend my statement. It's been 20 years since their first feature film.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's been 20 years.
20 years this year for Toy Story, maybe next
year. Yes, it is. And
Toy Story's 95, 96.
Yeah, exactly. And if you look at their overall like film list, their filmography, I mean, beyond, I think Cars 2 is like the only one that falls beneath like a 90 in terms of
we're not counting straight to video, right?
No, of course not. But that's like the only one of out there. They only have like 14 films, 14 or 15, but like that's like the only one that went under like a 90% on like Metacritic or Rotten Tomatoes. It's like that's how amazing Pixar is as a company. They get it. They understand the types of films that we want to see. This is the sort of film that I want to see. You know what I mean? An escape from reality that was funny, but also had a serious.
I'm sorry, just to answer the question. So actually, Pixar, their beginnings was as the graphics group or part of the computer division at Lucasfilms.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
And then, but they became Pixar Studios in 1986.
Yes. So they're almost 30 years
old.
Right. Yeah. So right. And like,
but
but they've only been making
because they were working on the technology and they did the shorts. Like I think like the whole thing with the lamp and everything
that was their first short.
That was
their
first
was
thing,
Luke.
And then they've kind of gone through that to eventually when they were able to. But I know that Toy Story took years to make.
Yeah.
I mean nowadays it's probably a lot faster than what it used to be because of the computers and technology.
Well, like just even think about like in the first Toy Story, the dog looks the way that he is because they couldn't animate fur back then. You know what I mean? But then just jump ahead just a few years and you got Monsters Inc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like so exactly, technology is.
They're pushing the limit.
Yeah, exactly.
As the years go by, they were able to do more things.
Especially look at the color palette and like in terms of like contrast of Toy Story 3 versus the other two, like. It's just a big jump, like in a good way.
Yeah.
Toy Story.
All of them have a different color palette.
Yeah. Well,
right.
Toy Story, the first one, I mean, was somewhat desaturated. In color, and they've gotten. I mean, hell, look at Inside Out.
Yeah.
Like all it's so bright, all the different colors and everything in that movie. I mean, it's come a long way.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess my point is that for example, Pixar is going to have another film out this year, The Good Dinosaur. They're going to be competing with themselves for Best Animated Feature Film.
Well, it's not been the first time they haven't competed with themselves, right?
I think this is the first time they've had two movies.
I thought
in the same year. I think
thought
there's
Toy
been
Story
one other
and
time.
Monsters University. Wasn't Toy Story 3 and Monsters University around like they might have
No.
No, says
this
the
is
voice
this
from
is the only
behind the
time
wall.
they've ever, because last year they didn't release a film at all.
Yeah, because this one was coming out.
Well, right. I think their
they
production just fell behind or whatever,
Yeah.
so they couldn't release one last year. And so they're kind of compensating for that by releasing two of them this year. I don't think there's ever been a case where two of their films have come out in the exact same year. Because they've never competed against themselves for an
They've
Oscar.
done like shorts, haven't they? Like little
Well,
shorts.
yeah, but they're not getting
between the
nominated
movie,
for
No.
This will be the first year that they have two full feature-length films in the same year.
Most likely they will.
Right.
Probably.
So
well, we'll see, because you know how the Academy is. Like,
No.
I mean, they didn't even Lego Movie. Everybody was going crazy for
yeah,
last
but
year. They didn't
but the Academy loves.
I mean,
Pixar.
after the Good
They
Dinosaur,
love Pixar.
I mean, after the Good Dinosaur, they're heading into Finding Dory, and
That's right.
That'll be the 2016.
Is Finding Dory a prequel or a sequel?
I think it's a sequel.
Okay, because I haven't really heard of any of the details of it
and
yet.
then a year after Finding Dory will be Toy Story 4.
They better have.
And then when's the Incredibles 2?
Story.
Incredibles 2 is to be announced. It's on their list of upcoming
I know that's
projects.
Finally, Brad Bird said he was going to do Incredibles 2, but that's probably another couple years.
any of their number, they have 3 movies that don't have dates yet, but they'll probably come after 2018. So Incredibles is included in that list.
Yeah.
So
I know a lot of people are really excited for The Incredibles.
I mean,
Once that
I wasn't. I like The Incredibles. I don't put it in my like top Pixar films.
I don't either. I know there's a lot of people that love it. I enjoyed it when I watched it.
Exactly.
But
it was
I
funny.
wasn't. I'm not like, oh my god, like where some people like been waiting for it. I mean, I still feel like the Toy Story movies are still like their best.
Yeah.
Next to Finding Nemo, because Finding Nemo is just amazing to watch. It's like just a beautiful film with like just what they did with the underwater stuff.
And the greatest thing about Pixar is that they don't generally, I mean, they have a few exceptions in there, but they don't generally try to like sell out themselves or anything. No. If they're making a movie, they're making it for their reasons. Yeah. Like, and that's what I'm gonna trust them with Toy Story 4. Frozen is Disney, not Pixar.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering because I know that they're talking about doing Frozen, but that's not Pixar.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Like so, for example, Toy Story 2 was their first sequel.
Yes.
And that was a few years after Toy Story 1, because they did a few other movies in between.
Yeah, I forget what.
Yeah. So and like now,
the
of course,
only movies that have sequels or even prequels,
they only have one prequel.
That's Monsters University.
Right, exactly.
But they have Cars 2 and then Toy Story. No other movies have sequels.
Exactly.
They will Finding Dory will be the next one.
Right.
Toy Story 4.
Incredibles,
and there's plans for a third Cars movie as well.
Okay, so
but that hasn't been dated yet.
Okay, but like up until this point, Pixar's MO has been let's find a new creative idea. And let's go with that. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what's been so fantastic.
Well, I think the key thing with them is that they allow whatever movies they do, they give them time to like breathe a little bit. They will, like I said, some of these movies will eventually get sequels, but it'll be years down the road. It won't be
because
it won't be 2 years later.
They probably have a ton of people there with creative ideas that they're like, we want to get these out because first, and then when we're in between, like trying to come up with another, like going through what the next movie we want, we'll go and do a sequel because of that. But I think like their big thing is like they have their movies aren't, they're not relying on like nowadays where they are relying on sequels. They have they're just a creative thing over there at Pixar that they come up with. I mean, look at Inside Out. They came up with a really interesting concept.
Now, question: do you think Inside Out's a one-off?
I do.
I don't see really.
Yeah.
I mean, the characters are really cute. You know what? I wouldn't mind if they like what they did with some of. I think they might have done it with Monsters Inc. too before they did the Monsters University, where they might have made a short or something and put it on. I could see them maybe doing a short for one of the other movies down the where it opens up the movie like we saw with this one was with Lava. I could see them doing like a little short with all the main emotions again. That's only a couple minutes long.
Their shorts, though, generally tend to be not related or non.
Yeah, and I know, like they did like something with like Toy Story where it was like for Halloween or something.
Well, those are like straight to TV.
Yeah,
sort of
like
deals.
I could see them doing something like that where it's not a full-on story, but it's just like a little skit to bring the characters back, and it's more focused on the characters again. I could see something like that. I mean, I wouldn't actually mind seeing something like that.
Well, it would
as long as Amy Poehler and all of them come back and
if it's like little skits, I could see that.
I could see that happening.
Yeah, they made a little skit about like Toy Story after Toy Story 3, which was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It was real short, really cute. It was something like Buzz gets switched out with like a McDonald's-sized Buzz Lightyear or whatever.
I could see that.
Like,
I think that would be
with
perfect, where it's after a couple of years and then all of a sudden they kind of should bring it back, but you have the cast and emotions and things. I think that would be fine.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Like I said, I'm hoping to dear Lord that their Toy Story 4 script is as good as they say it is to be wanting to make a fourth one.
I really think they shouldn't.
I thought they should have stopped, and I thought they were going to, because Toy Story 3 was a perfect ending for that trilogy.
That's a perfect.
For that story.
That is a perfect
trilogy.
It was perfect.
Yeah, that's a perfect
It was
series.
absolutely perfect. There was no reason to go on anymore. We have all the stories we need about these
all
toys.
the little shorts, if they want to keep on doing the little shorts, that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sure
what I'm saying.
Kids will watch that if they want to do something traditionally every year. They do like something with the little Toy Story gang for like Christmas or Halloween or something like that. Like that would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be okay with that. I'm just saying they better have a.
People love like those kids. Those are like iconic Disney characters and things like that. That they're toys and all kinds of stuff. Like kids will be buying that for years and years. You don't have to. You don't have to
exactly.
you don't have to keep on pushing it. I mean, look how they re-released like The Lion King and stuff like that, and that made a bajillion.
Well, and then not only that, you've got people our generation who grew up with these films, and if as we later on have kids and stuff like that, we would pass that along to our kids. So it's gonna be endless.
I mean, I still I know like Pixar, but you guys like love Pixar and stuff. I still love like the golden age of Disney.
Oh, absolutely. No, me too.
I still think they're. Even though I like Pixar, but I still think they're like some of the best movies.
My favorite animated movie of all time is Aladdin.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, I love Aladdin and just kind of interesting story share. I was actually in Florida the day that Robin Williams passed away.
Oh my gosh.
And
so
yeah,
sad.
and
my sadness is.
I know.
Right
And we were walking around down by like the Disneyland Pier or whatever, down there or whatever, and
in downtown Disney.
Downtown Disney.
Okay,
and,
I know what you're talking about.
And we're walking on, all of a sudden, because they have music playing, and we hear...
Where they have the giant genie in downtown Disney?
Well, we weren't on, but we heard the music, and we heard You've Never Had a Friend Like Me.
Yes, because there's a genie, off to the side.
But they were playing all types of Disney music the whole time, but then that song just happened to pop up, and I got chills. I almost started crying.
Did you I need to go be by myself?
I need to go into the corner of this store.
Leave me alone for like 10 minutes.
Let me cry for a second, but yeah, I mean those Disney films
I mean,
are still at the top
I
for me.
still love The Little Mermaid. I think that's like I still think like The Little Mermaid and Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast. I think those are and The Lion King. I think those are all perfect movies.
Absolutely.
I think they are completely perfect, and also like because they're even though like their music and stuff, they're just classic movies that even like with Frozen and stuff, I still think all those movies are better than Frozen. At least Frozen,
I'll give you that.
I've still never seen Frozen.
I get it, like why little girls like it, but out of all those movies, especially with the singing and stuff, there's only 2 songs out of all those songs that you kind of listen to that you're like, and they got annoying. At least with like Aladdin and Little Mermaid and stuff, like those songs don't get annoying. Those songs are just like great. That like when you hear it, like we're going back to Inside Out, it gets stuck in your head. Especially if you go to Disney.
Yeah.
It just gets stuck and you're like, these are movies.
Honestly, like as far as like Toy Story 4 goes, like I can like sometimes when these sequels come like this, like I mean we're talking about far apart between, I'm not talking about between Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 4, I'm talking about between the first one and now you're all the way here now at the fourth one, over 20 years later. Sometimes I wonder I'm wondering if it would just be better for them just to re-release Toy Story, like take it as is, maybe just HD remaster and just re-release it in theaters.
I know.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting if they really released it in theaters. I know, like they did have. I think it's already on Blu-ray. I know they had issues because of the footage that they used for rendering and stuff back in the day kind of was like when they wanted to redo it, it was out of date and it was really hard. I forget what it was, but it was in the documentary for Pixar that there was issues with it because of how out of date and when they used it but I feel like, with all the technology now, they probably would be able to, and it's Disney.
I mean,
they'll be like, we'll give you money to
and I agree with
it.
Mike that the Toy Story trilogy was a perfect trilogy.
All of them are great.
All of them are great.
And
exactly.
they've ended it
and so
great.
And so why potentially? I mean, we can because it's Pixar, we can withhold some hope that Toy Story 4 will be a good movie.
Like they've earned a pass. In these 20 years, basically.
But you can't help there be there that little bit of worry that they are just getting a little bit greedy.
Well, and especially just because you just went down the list, like after like The Good Dinosaur, we got like 3 sequels or whatever.
Well,
like 3 or 4.
There'll be 4 sequels within like the next 10 years.
But that's what I'm saying. But now it's starting to feel like
they're all going to be sequels. There's nothing original.
Well, no, there are some.
There's like a Day of the Dead.
Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah. Film that is currently in the works or something.
Well,
That's been in the works for a while too.
maybe it's not Pixar, but wasn't there something like coming out like they said that there was
with
The Rock, and it was
maybe,
some kind of like.
But there are a couple of unnamed Pixar films that are being worked on that they haven't officially announced yet.
I thought there was something.
The news could be completely original.
Yeah, something completely original, and like they had announced that The Rock was doing a voice for something, and I forget what it was. Like it was some kind of like a Samoan type of Disney Pixar movie. I might be mistaken. It might not be Pixar. It might be like the same people that did Frozen.
It's probably. I have a feeling it's probably Disney.
But from the list I saw, they've got, like I said, they've got Finding Dory, Toy Story, Incredibles 2, Cars 3. They have the Dia de los Muertos, and then there were 2 unnamed projects that don't have any dates or really anything or names. So that's seven Pixar movies, and so again, the majority of those will be sequels and then 2 original movies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see as it goes along. Because I mean, like I said, just piggyback what you said, like that's the scene where Andy passes all his toys to Bonnie at the end of Toy Story 3. It's like.
That's it.
Why can't that be our last?
I mean,
you just
unless
have
you
to
wanted the other ending where they all burned to death.
No, that didn't get me. It was that part that got me.
No,
like,
I totally understand.
Let us have that as our last memory of Toy Story. Please, just leave it.
They were all happy.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, as proven with Inside Out, Pixar, 9 times out of 10 will hit the mark, and other times, not so much.